Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be talking about, well, it was originally supposed to be, I guess technically a top 10 or maybe top 5 or whatever, but then I started going through all the Pokemon from Gen 8 and I was thinking, well, I like a heck of a lot more than this. And that's usually pretty standard for every generation, but I couldn't pick it. I couldn't pick just 5 or 10. So I decided just to make a list of Pokemon that I really like from Gen 8, and well, here we are. So, in no particular order, well, actually, I'm just going to do it in Dex order. I'm just going to go through this. So, starting off, obviously, we have Grookey. Grookey is my starter. I really like the little grass monkey. He's a little boot. And I would honestly say out of all the starters from this generation, see, here's the thing. So, he's a very cute starter. If I had to pick my favorite starter from the base starters, like of Gen 8, I have a hard time between him and Scorbunny, but I like where he goes more, so that's where I'm gonna keep going. Next, I'm just gonna say Thwacky's cool, but I like Rillaboom way more. He's just a big dude, and honestly, I think it's about time that we get a big gorilla grass Pokemon. I love that he carries around his drum on his back, and he just kind of drums out. I also love that it's him and a band at the end of the game, just kind of like playing their music to celebrate the championship and all that. It's really cool. I love it. I love everything about it. So Rillaboom's way up there. Next up is Scorbunny. I already mentioned Scorbunny is like, again, neck and neck with Grookey. I like them both, and honestly, if I had to say one or the other, I would say Scorbunny just inches out a little bit more over Grookey. But it gets minus points for where it heads, and this is okay. So first, I'm gonna just say I love Raboot too. Raboot's cool. I love that it's all like it's got like the stuff over its face, and it's kind of moody, especially in the anime. I like its design a lot, and also it's got a hoodie on. It has little pockets that it puts its little paws in, and it's very cute. Even though I'm positive it wouldn't like being called cute. But I love Raboot. And then they ruin him. They absolutely freaking ruin him with Cinderace. So not even going to touch on that. Next up is Inteleon. Now, you might be wondering, how can I not like Sobble and Drizzile? Drizzile? I almost forgot its name. And I do like them. I like them a lot, but they're not my favorites. This is a list of favorite Pokemon, and they're not my favorites. But I do love Inteleon. I love that he's a 007 agent, inspiration. I just love everything about it. And I love its Gigantamax. I love that its tail extends so much and that it kind of gets into like a crow's nest kind of position. Or I guess in this case, it's a sniper's nest. And then it like forms this long tube with like a little with one of those like gun like aiming little notches, whatever it's called. And then it's sniping. That's its. I think that's its hidden ability is sniper. So I love that, and I love it's one of those Pokemon that like in its Gigantamax form, it's so big, or in this case, it's so tall that the little clouds have to go underneath it because it's just like it's so tall that it's basically like going way past the clouds of Gigantamaxing or Dynamaxing. So I really like that too. Next up is Corviknight. Corviknight's a cool bird. I love that they are continuing the trend of early regional birds that eventually grow into something a bit more special and are not just normal flying. They kind of backtrack a little bit with Toucanon, but I think they do it a little bit more favors, at least Toucanon. I mean, by giving it kind of more of an interesting design. But with Corviknight, it is a steel type as well as flying, and I love that. I love it. It's a big black dark knight, and it's so cool. It's got those piercing red eyes. I love it. And I like okay, so its Gigantamax doesn't change it a ton. It's really almost the same. The only difference is now it's like got bigger wings and it's gliding. But I love the little like sniping, like it's got little like, if you've ever seen like Gundam, like I think they call them like funnels, or some of the characters call them like fangs or whatever, but it's like these little like drone things that are flying around, and it can like send them at like whatever. It's super cool. I love it. I love it. I love it. Next is Nickit. Nickit's a weird one. Not a weird one, but it's like it's one of those where it's like it's just living its life. It's not at the top of my list in any way, but I definitely like it. I know a lot of people were disappointed that it didn't turn out to be like part fire in addition to dark or something like that. Because it's red. It's a red fox, but I think ultimately it's fine being just dark. I don't. I actually don't have Thievel on this list, even though I do like Thievel. I love their inspiration of like there's there's some Guy Fawkes stuff going on, and it's a thief. It's if Intellion is 007, Thievel or Nickit in this case is kind of more of a thief. It's I don't even have a reference. I don't know. Thieves. But they've got little mustaches and it's very tricky. And okay. So one thing that I love about Nickit, especially, it's more obvious with Nickit, although Thievel has a bigger tail. But like its tail. It has like this brush on the end so that it can erase its footprints, and that way it can get away scot-free and not be tracked. I love it. Next up is Dreadnought. Dreadnought is one of those Pokemon where it's like, when I first saw it, I thought, okay, this is cool. But I didn't like fall in love with it entirely. And then I used it and it was awesome and I love it. And then it also has an awesome Gigantamax form. And it feels like the natural progression. It's derpy in the beginning with Choodle. Then it's kind of still derpy as Dreadnought, but then a Gigantamax and it becomes derpy but like really big with a giant shell, and it's got a giant horn coming out of its face. It's very, very cool. I like it a lot. I love it. I love its name, Dreadnought. It's very cool. I don't know. It's just cool. There's not really much else I could say about it. Next up is Roly-Poly. Roly-Poly. Okay, so I have a issue with its line, not because I don't like its line, but because I wish that they always had this red eye on it. Roly-Poly has this red eye, and it's very cool looking. And then it turns into Carkol, and it's like, okay, so it's got the teeth, but you don't always see the teeth. And then, yeah, the coals are kind of heated up, but they're not always heated up. And then its eyes are these like weird, like, just like, it almost looks like a fan made Carkol to some degree, because you always hear about like fans complaining about like, oh, well, they should go for Pokemon design. They should go back to how Pokemon used to be with their eyes, where it's just like basically a triangle with a dot in the middle. And it's like they heard that and they were like, all right, this is what's happening. We're doing this. It's a triangle with, in this case, it's kind of like a circle with another circle in it, or an oval with an oval in it. But after having seen it in game, I will admit, and this goes for Colossal as well, after seeing it in the game, their eyes do glow a little bit, and I'll just move on to Colossal because that's like the next thing. Their eyes and the coals glow and their mouths glow when they're attacking, so that's cool. I'll give them that. Now, if I have to say, that it doesn't end there, because Colossal, I love Colossal, but even more so than Colossal, I love Gigantamax Colossal. Colossal, it gives me exactly what I wanted. Its eyes are glowing. It's got like these like a stove oven like things going on inside. You can see all the like molten rock, and the coals are even higher up. And I love its cry too, because it sounds like boulders coming down a mountain. It is so cool looking, and also it reminds me of like I don't know exactly what it's called, but it's like the Rock Titan or whatever from Hercules from the Disney movie, where it's like this giant rock with giant glowing eyes, and it looks so cool. I love Gigantamax Colossal. Next up is Applin, because of course Applin is super duper cute. It's funny that Applin is not actually the apple itself, because so many food Pokemon, it's like, okay, well they're the whole thing almost. But in this case, the apple is like basically just a regular apple, I guess. And then Applin's this little worm inside, which is so freaking cute. I love the idea of that it's an apple. It's a worm inside of an apple, but then it's also dragon, so it's not just bug. It's not bug or anything boring like that. Um, I just love it. And how can you not love Appleton? Now everybody, okay, so Appleton is way cuter and way more attractive than what's it called? Flapple. Flapple is like, I don't know how I feel it. It goes way more in the like gecko looking zone than like gecko worm zone than Appleton does. And I think what everybody like, if you want a dragon, you want a big like poofy dragon. You want a big dragon. So I think that's what they went with for Appleton. And I love that like the little things like what you expect is its ears are actually its eyes, and they flip up to show you that they're eyes. It's adorable. And also, it's so fat and big that it can't use its wings. It's so adorable. It's awesome. Now, I don't really care for like the backstory of like, oh, it's like skin being peeled off and eaten because it's so sweet. That's kind of gross. But I do love it. And I love that Appleton plush that they just brought out. I'm never going to buy it, but I want to so bad. Oh my God. Next up is Sandaconda. And Sandaconda, so I don't like snakes in general. I mean, okay, so that's a little strong. Like, it's not like I'm like gonna be afraid of snakes or anything, but like there is something about being attacked by a giant python or anaconda that just like freaks me out. And I guess that's like pretty standard. But I love Sandaconda's look. At first I wasn't 100% sure, but I love that it's got like a its nose is like a shotgun, and it shoots sand out and everything. I love it. It's another Pokemon that I grew to love even more so when I saw it in game. It's another one that I think looks better when you can see the full 3D the full 3D model and see what it looks like in general. And I love its Gigantamax. A lot of these are going to be Gigantamax forms. I love that it turns into a giant tornado thing, spiral thing, and the like collar around its neck that was holding all the sand is like basically burst into this giant like sandstorm thing. It's very cool. And I remember back in the day before we knew exactly how to not cheat the system, but like before it was clear and obvious how to catch Gigantamax Pokemon. Like after you caught a Pokemon, it's easier to catch one with Repeat Ball. But before we knew that, Sandaconda was kind of my white whale. It was very hard to catch, and Gigantamax Sandaconda, I mean specifically. But I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Next up is Toxtricity, and honestly, this is a Pokemon that I never expected to use whatsoever in my game. I don't remember if I saw it ahead of time or what during the leaks, but like it's one of those things where it's like my team ended up being way more like cringy, not cringy. It ended up being way more punk and like kind of more like edgy than I thought it would be, because I had like Dreadnought, Rillaboom, Toxtricity, and Grimmsnarl and Corviknight, and like it was very odd. I mean, like they're all very cool Pokemon, but like it was a very odd situation to find myself with Toxtricity, and I'm really happy that now I'm gonna say this very specifically. I don't like amped Toxtricity, the one with the electric like yellow mohawk. I don't like it. I think it looks dumb. I think if that was the only form, I wouldn't like it at all. But I love low key form. I love low key form. I love its like droopy eyes, and it just doesn't care. And I love that in this form, it's like gives like the minimum effort when it attacks. It just kind of like kicks its leg, and it's like whatever. I love that. But I do also, again, a lot of Gigantamax forms. I love it. Honestly, Gigantamax Toxtricity might be one of my favorite Gigantamax forms. Like this, along with Colossal, it might be like that. It might be it. That might be it. I love it. I love that it's okay. So we don't have any confirmation on this, but I love that it's probably the giant Pokemon on the side of I don't know what the Turffield, the grass gyms town. I love that it's like basically foreshadowed there, and then you get a Toxel on the next route. I really like that. I don't know if there's any like like significance in the lore about it, but it's very cool. A lot of people had a lot of theories about that being like the legendary Pokemon at one point, but then it ended up just being Toxtricity, the Gigantamax. So that either way, very cool. Next up is Centiskorch. And I knew from the start that I love Centiskorch. I love it. I'm not a huge fan of centipedes, obviously. And it's another creepy crawly that, like, obviously I'm not going to be terrified of, unless it's a poisonous one. But it's in anime Pokemon form. I love it. I love it. I love it. I think what I love most about it is that it's like it's it's based in part on like the Japanese like samurai like helmet, like the Kabuto helmet, and I love it because it's got this mustache and these eyebrows, and it's even got it on the back. And I love Kabu. I love Kabu. Kabu is one of my favorite gym leaders. Period. It doesn't matter, and the fact that he uses a Centiskorch is just amazing. And I love Gigantamax Centiskorch because it turns everything that I love about Centiskorch up to 11. And then like the little like oven, not an oven, but like the stove markings on the belly become even brighter and like spread out. I love it. I absolutely love it. The only thing I don't love about Centiskorch is it's shiny. Its shiny sucks. I think they should have changed its flames or its entire body in some way. Instead its back just kind of turns blue along with its like arms and legs. I don't like that. I don't like that one bit, but I love the design of Centiskorch, so yeah. Next up is a Cursula. I was going to say Corsola, although I do love Galarian Corsola, but I count that more as a Gen 2 Pokemon because whatever. I don't know. Either way, we can count Corsola too. Either way, Cursula is great. I love that it's like basically like the ghost cracking out of the shell of a Corsola and then like kind of just like this like plasma, like this ghostly plasma coming up everywhere. It's a very sad story because like it's supposed to be about like coral reefs dying. But it's a very cool design, and I've been waiting for something for Corsola forever. Corsola is one of those like underrated Pokemon. It's one of my favorite Gen 2 Pokemon. And then it got a Galarian form, and then it got a Galarian evolution, and it was just like I love it. Next up is Pincurchin. Now, most people, if they asked you what your little like bean Pokemon favorite is, they're probably gonna say Snow. And I agree, Snow is super duper adorable, and I'm not gonna lie that it was on this list for a little bit, but until I like had to shave a bunch of Pokemon off. But I think I like Pincurchin more. I like that its little like tips glow. The only thing that I wish it was like, I wish it had a dual type of some sort. It's only electric type, but it has a ton of water type Pokemon moves, and it's found near the water. I think something like that. It's another Pokemon that I kind of wish had a dual type, but either way, I love it, and I love its shiny. I love its shiny. It's like little mandible, like jowl thing grows like real dark orange. It's so cute, and it's so adorable, and I love its eyes are little triangles. It's very cute. Next up is Dracozolt, and out of all of the fossil Pokemon, at least of Gen 4, or not Gen 4, at least of Gen 8, cut that in half. I think it's my favorite, and I think mostly it's my favorite because I love the little like electric bird thing. That I guess it's a bird, or I guess it's not a bird. It's got dinosaur hands. It's a dinosaur, but I love it. I love it. It's got a big body, a big booty in the back, and it's got this tiny little body in the front. And honestly, Arctozolt was on this list for a minute. But I think I just kind of bumped it off because I like Dracozolt way more. A lot of people will say Dracovish is their favorite of the new fossils, but I have to disagree. I would say that Dracozolt is better. I maybe not competitively, for sure not competitively, but I'm going to disagree and say that Dracozolt is better. Next up is Duraludon, another instant classic. Another instant favorite. It is based off of Mechagodzilla and a lighter, and like a lighter. But it's very, very cool. I love it. I almost used it on my team. it's one of those Pokemon that I'm probably never gonna end up using, but I love so much. At least not until like I like replay a game or something like that. But I love it. I love its Gigantamax form. It turns into a giant skyscraper. Now, in my head, I'm an American, so I'm thinking like, oh, it kind of looks like the Chrysler Building, which I don't know if it actually does. I'm not doing any research into that, but apparently there's a building, I think in not in London or something like that, somewhere in England, where it's basically just this. It's got a little dot on the end at the top to Warren Plains, and it's got like the giant triangular looking window structure at the bottom. So it's definitely based off something from England and not America. Duh. But I love it. I love it. Honestly, I think what's most interesting about it is that its feet, like, it becomes so big and tall that not only are the clouds around its neck rather than around its head, but it has these little like kickstand things around its feet. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, of course it makes sense to have that. It's so dumb to be like gaga about, but like it's a level of detail that I love about it. I love that it has little dots, little lights on its butt too. I love it so much. Oh my god, this is another Pokemon that I'm just like, ugh. Okay, Dragapult. Dragapult is very, very cool. It shoots its babies out of its head. It's a ghost dragon, which is an interesting type combination. And it evolves from a Pokemon that is not only found super late, but is almost useless early on until it evolves at least one time. I don't know if what's Dracloak. I don't know if Dracloak learns anything significant once it evolves into a Dracloak, but Dragapult's pretty top notch, and apparently it's super competitive, or at least is very competitive. I love it so much. I love Dragon Darts, the move. It's so cool. I love it. I love it. I love it. And also, I just love that it's built like based on a stealth jet. It is got that triangular head, and it's a ghost, so it's like it's just stealthily moving along. I love it. I've said that too many times in this video. Now, finally, we're going to talk about Regidrago and how much I love Regidrago, and I kind of want a figure of Regidrago. Regidrago is one of those like Pokemon that like I could see myself getting a figure of and just kind of like playing with as I'm working and just having it as like a little like fidget toy. Because it's like this little guy. It's this guy. It's a giant dragon head, and I love. Okay, so the whole thing about Regidrago is that Regigigas, sometime in the past, was like, "Yo, I want to make a dragon golem. I'm into it. I'm doing it." So he started making it. He made the head, and he made like the like ball of the head thing, and he's like, "Oops, I guess I overestimated how much stuff I have." Well, I guess we're just stuck with the head. So he didn't get to make the rest of Regidrago, which I don't know if that makes sense. Was he making entirely different Pokemon then? Or was it always going to be a Regidrago? I don't know. I don't know how like can Regigigas make other Pokemon? That's a good question. Either way, I'm happy with Regidrago. I think I like it more than Regieleki. I certainly like its name more than Regieleki. But I love the like what color is it? It's like a pinkish like red. I like a magenta, and along with like that blue, I think it looks super sharp. It's very, very cool. I like it a lot. Yeah, so I mean that's all I got to say about this one. So out of all of these, which one do I like the most? Don't question me. Don't ask me this. This is a toughie. Let's just say Rillaboom because it was my starter Pokemon from Pokemon Sword. Yes. So that's all I've got to say about these Pokemon. Let me know what you guys like about Gen 8. Which Pokemon are your favorites? Let me know down below in the comment section. And remember to subscribe if you want to see more from me about this as I ramble about my favorite Pokemon. And also remember to leave a like if you enjoyed anything I had to say or liked any of the Pokemon that I like. I will see you guys in another video. So long.